Good morning, everyone. I'm here with another Dr. Seuss Day for you today, and especially those at Golly River Elementary. I know you're having Silly Sock Day. Well, I wore my silly Dr. Seuss socks today. So we're here together, and I'm going to read another book to you today. This is actually one of the stories in a book called The Sneetches and Other Stories. One really cool thing about Dr. Seuss is that not only are his drawings creative and he is fun and his rhyming is fun, he started to tackle some more serious issues in some of his other books. And he actually talks a lot about how we treat each other, and he tackles some pretty big issues. And in the Sneetches book, he talks a lot about how we treat each other and how we get along. And the story I want to read to you today is called What Was I Scared Of? And it not only is talking about fear, but it's really talking about judging someone before we really get to know them. Okay? Well, I was walking in the night and I saw nothing scary. For I have never been afraid of anything, not very. Then I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved. Those empty pants, they kind of started jumping, and then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out. I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared. But pants like that, I did not care for. No, sir. After that, a week went by. Then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach. I was starting back through town when those pants raced round a corner and they almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach, but I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride them, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside them. And the next night I was fishing for trout on River River when those pants came rowing toward me. Well, I started in to shiver, and by now I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to. I screamed and rode away and lost my hook and line and bait too. I ran and found a brickle bush. I hid myself away. I got brickles in my britches, but I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night, the next night too. I'd be there still, no doubt, but I had to do an errand, so the next night I went out. I had to do an errand, had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them. I said and said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. Then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing that I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I'll bet that you know who. Uh-oh, what's going to happen? And there I was, caught in the snide, and in that dreadful place, those spooky empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help, I screamed, I shrieked, I howled, I yelled, I cried, oh, save me from those pale green pants with nobody inside. But then a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. I put my arm around their waist and sat right down beside them. I calmed them down. Poor empty pants, with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I, and we never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say, hi. I love that story because it's not just about being afraid and that feeling of fear and you've got to do something but you're afraid. It's judging other people before you really know them. He didn't know anything about the pale green pants, so he was scared. But once he got to know them, they could be friends and they could get to know each other. So that's the same way with people. We think we can be afraid of someone, or we worry about a certain type of person until we get to know them. And then we realize that we can be friends. I'll read you another short one that's in the middle of this one. This is called The Zacks. And let's see if these two people are good friends, what they do that keeps them from being friends. One day, making tracks in the prairie of Prax, came a north-going Zacks and a south-going Zacks. And it happened that both of them came to a place where they bumped. There they stood, foot to foot, face to face. Look here now, the north-going Zacks said. I say, you are blocking my path. You are right in my way. I'm a north-going Zacks, and I always go north. Get out of my way now and let me go forth. Who's in whose way? Snapped the south-going Zacks. I always go south, making south-going tracks. So you're in my way, and I ask you to move and let me go south in my south-going groove. Then the north-going Zacks puffed his chest up with pride. I never, he said. Take a step to one side, and I'll prove to you that I won't change my ways if I have to keep standing here for 59 days. And I'll prove to you, yelled the south-going Zacks, that I can stand here in the prairie of Prax for 59 years. For I live by a rule that I learned as a boy back in south-going school. Never budge. That's my rule. Never budge in the least. Not an inch to the west, not an inch to the east. I'll stay here not budging. I can and I will if it makes you and me and the whole wide world stand still. Well, of course, the world didn't stand still. The world grew. In a couple of years, the new highway came through, and they built it right over those two stubborn Zacks, and they left them there, standing, unbudged, in their tracks. Isn't that amazing? Because they wouldn't give in. They wouldn't compromise. They wound up being stubborn and standing there and not getting along and causing all kinds of problems around them. Isn't that funny? Okay, here's my challenge to you today. Go back to the what was I scared of story. And Dr. Seuss made something kind of funny by having pale green pants with nobody inside them. What's something funny that you can think of that somebody could be afraid of? Something that sounds kind of silly, but he used something silly to teach a lesson. So maybe you could do purple polka dotted socks, or the blue striped jacket. What can you come up with that would make kind of a funny story to fit in with the pale green pants? Okay, I hope you have a great day. I hope you are reading a lot and you are learning a lot this week, and I hope to see you at the library soon. Have a good day. Bye.